Black tourmaline, another one of the really, really popular protection stones out there. Black tourmaline is a stone that can take heavy and dense energies and turn them into a lighter vibration. It is known for absorbing negative energy to be removed from yourself or from a space. Now, tourmaline is a pyroelectric stone, meaning that under heat, it can generate electricity. It can also generate an electric field under pressure. That's fun. It could be a fire starter if done to an extreme. Tourmaline is a great balancing stone for chakras. It is a good grounding stone for the root chakra as well. It's also very good for balancing things like auric fields. So it's a very multi-purpose stone and can be used for far more than just the absorbing and banishing negativity that a lot of people use it for. That's a great use for it. It really is, and it's an easily, readily available stone to do that with, but it's got those other uses and properties as well that nobody really mentions and talks about using it for balancing and grounding. So the more you know. Labradorite. Now, I know somebody who really likes labradorite. But what is labradorite used for in spirituality? Well, it's a transformation stone. So if you're going through a transformative part of your life, it would be a good one to have on hand or to work with. It is a protective stone that works a lot with the aura. It clears unwanted energies from your aura, and it can remove other people's psychic projections from your aura as well to regain balance and just clear that auric field of the negativity. It is an ascension stone, as in it aids in the ascension process. If you're going through your awakening, if you're moving towards being a better version of yourself for the good of your higher self, labradorite would be a good stone to have if you're at that period in your life. Its auric protection properties alone make it worth having. Its psychic protection properties alone make it one worth having. This is a purple flash palm stone, like the one that I will be raffling off. And this is a raw piece of labradorite. There are several different kinds that you can find, each of them looking a little bit different than the other, but all of them are beautiful. All right, let's talk about a little item. And I say little because mine is small. She is tiny, but she is mighty. And that is Libyan desert glass. She is tiny. This one is hand wrapped for me. It's a golden yellowish color. In certain lights, it looks very clear, but she is yellow. So Libyan desert glass is the sister stone to Moldavite. She is very good for strengthening your will, and it is also very good for, say, shy or introverted people to overcome those boundaries and to become more outgoing and sociable. Now, as a sister stone to Moldavite, it is one of those that you can pair with it to help rein in and control the effects of Moldavite and sort of focus it more on what you need it to do or want it to do if you have properly charged and programmed the Moldavite. So another one that can go with Moldavite is a Herkimer diamond to have a similar effect, but this one being Moldavite's sister, it makes it stronger. Libyan desert glass is also called a golden tektite. I think it's Libyan golden tektite. I might be wrong on that, though. I'd have to double check. And it is connected to the energy of sun ray, which is, a very powerful energy. Like I said, she is tiny, but she is mighty. I'm going to tell you about black kyanite, what it is, and why you should use it. Even if it's just for the protection aspect, it's a really good one. Let's talk about pneumite. I guess I'm going to have to just make a crystal series because I'm enjoying this. Now, pneumite, which I will put a better clip of this guy right here. Here it is in all of its shiny glory. Those little silvery specks and the dark brown to black coloring. Newmite is considered to be one of the oldest minerals on the planet. It is also called the Sorcerer's Stone, so there's that for the Harry Potter fans out there, if you'd like a real-life Sorcerer's Stone. Newmite helps to strengthen the auric field, and it also helps you move with stealth and undetectability. It also helps with contact with past life contacts. Newmite also pulls karmic debris out of the physical emotional body, as well as teaches respect. And I know a lot of people who need some of that.
The corpse crystal, or necrocrystal, also known as Vivianite. This is one of those crystals that is a rarer specimen because of the nature in which it forms. Now, it gets its nickname as the corpse crystal or the necrocrystal because it grows on decaying organic matter, fossils, fossilized bones, and things of that nature. In its purest form, it's clear. Looks a little white to the eye. But as the phosphate mixes with the iron in the decaying matter that it's growing on, it develops this green-blue color, similar to what you would see in oxidation. It can have a blue shift to it, and once it has absorbed enough iron, it will actually turn black. Now, this crystal can form virtually worldwide. It's commonly found in places like bogs or somewhere that had more of a wet, moist environment because of the decomposition. But most of the specimens that you find are going to come out of Brazil. Vivianite's a little bit on the pricier side because of its rarity and how fragile it is. This is not a stone crystal that you want to drop. It will shatter. Now, despite its almost morbid connotation, Vivianite is actually a stone of love and compassion, peace. It's very good for nerves and anxiety and spiritual illumination. So if you're dealing with toxic people and they cause things like anxiety and unrest, this would be a good choice for you.
Clear quartz, one of the most readily available and constantly used stones in spirituality. But what is it for? Now, clear quartz is an excellent amplifier in spell work. It operates kind of like a battery. Well, an extra battery to amp up the power in your spell working. It's also an excellent stone for clarity. It can protect against negative energies. That's not to say it removes them, but it can protect against them. Clear quartz is used in Reiki practices for cleansing all of the chakras, all of them. And it is also a stone that is fantastic for connecting to your higher consciousness. So anything that you would be doing that is better for your greater good, or you want to be done on a high vibrational level to make sure that you're working with the correct energies, clear quartz would be an excellent choice for that. It can be worn, it can be kept in spell jars, it can be kept on altars, it can go in charm bags. It's a very versatile stone and can be used in a lot of different ways. Obsidian. Now, obsidian is a very popular protection stone. In fact, it's probably one of the most popular protection stones because it can create an anti-negativity field in your space, so to speak. It's also a very grounding stone. So if you have problems with your root chakra or grounding in general, it would be a good idea to have something like this in your collection or on your person, maybe as a necklace or a ring. But there's something else about obsidian I would like to talk about. It operates like a black mirror would, or a scrying mirror. The problem you can run into there is obsidian cannot be locked like a mirror can. It's simply not possible. It creates a portal into your space that others can use to enter your space. So it is recommended, since you can't lock it, to keep it covered up when you're not using it, to prevent it from being used as a portal or being used to scry on you. But it can be used exactly like a black mirror would. You can even keep a large piece of it on a ring that you can hold up and see things that may be behind you that the naked eye would not be able to see. Amethyst. Now, amethyst is another one of those really popular stones that is worn a lot, it's used a lot, it's easy to find in shops, but again, what is it for? Amethyst is an excellent stone for spiritual connection. It has a connection to both the third eye and the crown chakra. It is frequently used for psychic abilities, psychic protection. It is a fantastic stone for intuition and clarity. And because it's a stone for psychic abilities and protection, it is excellent for amplifying things like your psychic abilities and your intuition. Its connection to spirituality makes it a good stone for meditating with, for sleeping with it on your table. It's good for protecting you from nightmares and helping to protect you in the dream world as well. That's why people will keep it next to their beds. Amethyst is also my birthstone. Just a fun fact. Mookaite. Mookaite is not quite as common or popular as some of the other stones that I've gone over, but it is still an excellent stone in and of itself nonetheless. Mookaite is a fantastic grounding stone, and it is also really good for furthering a connection with nature. Mookaite is said to be able to help you with emotional healing, and it's got a couple of other things related to mental health as well. It is said to help fight procrastination, and it is also excellent for decision making. So if you're having a hard time deciding on something, this would be a good stone to sit with, meditate with, or carry with you. Now, what I thought was interesting about Mookaite when I was learning about it is also said to be able to help boost your immune system. So that is a physical benefit of carrying or wearing this particular stone as well. Being a grounding stone and containing some of these red colorings, you could use this stone when working with your root chakra because the root is connected to grounding. It's a pretty well-rounded stone, in my opinion, and also, it's really pretty pattern-wise. So if you collect specifically for aesthetic purposes, pretty. Malachite, a stone that is connected to Venus and Capricorn and Scorpio. This is a transformation stone and a rebirthing stone. It is good for shyness. Now, it is said that malachite itself can protect against the evil eye, witchcraft, and bad in general. It's got a lot of physical properties for it that are beneficial. I don't remember them because I don't really work with stones as far as physical health goes. Now, normally we see malachite in its tumbled form, and it's this dark green with bands in it, like this part right here. But this is a raw piece of malachite. You see, it looks a little bit different, but it's still very shiny. It is a great stone to have for protection purposes, especially if you're a practitioner on this app and people like to throw stuff at people for no reason. Malachite is an excellent one to have to help deflect that witchcraft and malicious energy back towards the universe instead of yourself. Selenite, another one of these super, super popular crystals. Yes, more crystals. The selenite is an excellent cleansing stone. It is fantastic at removing negative energies from a space or from a person or from an object. It is also fantastic for charging crystals in and on because it is a self-charging stone. Well, mineral, really. Selenite is not water safe. You cannot put this in water to cleanse it or charge it. You don't need to, but people do it anyway. It will dissolve. Selenite is also called satin spar. which is also what desert rose is made of. Satin spark. Hi. Here's my train of something that I like to do with selenite, other than cleansing objects like my card decks, is I will take spears of it like this, or the smaller ones, and I will put them above every one of the doorways in my home. They will be charged with the intent of cleansing the negative energy of those who pass under it. And essentially, it creates a negativity screen going into your home. Think like in sci-fi movies or whatever, you've got those airlocks into quarantine or clean room environments. It's like that, but for negative energy entering or leaving your home. And I can attest that it does work. I have been very, very angry, walked in through my door, and that was gone. Hushite. Now this is one for my insomniacs out there. This one is associated with the planet Mercury and the zodiac sign Aquarius. It's very good for things like codependency, trauma healing, and like I said, insomnia. Now, I'm not super familiar with this stone, so I broke out the big crystal book, right? Because I have a big crystal book. Some of the other things listed for Fuchsite or green muscovite is emotional blackmail, resilience, self-worth, emotional shock, quick-wittedness, problem solving, left-right confusion. It's good for self-doubt and insecurity, nervous stress. For some physical things, we've got blood sugar, spine realignment, tendinitis, flexibility in the musculoskeletal system, repetitive strain injury. This little guy packs a punch. I know this isn't as great as the ones where I know all the information off the top of my head, but hey. Very good stone to have on hand, especially if you suffer with any of those things. That being said, if you have any of the emotional issues mentioned previously, this would be really good in a self-love, self-healing type working to channel the energy from this stone into that working. Lepidolite. Now, this one I'm going to recommend, especially for my people out there with connective tissue disorders like I have, along the lines of Ehlers-Danlos, because this stone is fantastic for connective tissue issues. It's connected to Jupiter and the zodiac sign Libra. And it's one I'm also going to have to pull the reference book out for because I don't have this one memorized. It's a stone that's good for addiction and for clearing electromagnetic pollution. It induces calm. And being that it's another purple stone, a lot of the purple stones are great for nightmares and things along that line. What the book has to say is it's also good for stress, obsessive thoughts, bipolar disorders, depression, emotional liability, muscle relaxation. It's also connected to Neptune, but it can help with sciatica, joint problems. Also repetitive strain injury like the Fuchsite. I'm terrible at pronouncing that word. But it's, let's see, what else do we have in here? It's a transition stone, and it insists on being used for the highest good and bringing about reconciliation.
Ask and ye shall receive. Let's talk about moldavite.
Here's a little closer look at the stone.
So what is this little thing, and why does it have the spiritual world in such a tizzy? Now, it is commonly called a walking tower moment. Moldavite is a rarer crystal, and what it is it's a tektite. It's closer to a glass, and it is formed by a meteor crash in a specific site in the world. There's not a whole lot of it available. It is limited, and that's why it's so expensive, not to mention it's rather hard to get in there and collect. What it really does is it does kind of act like the Tower card in tarot at first. And that's what scares people about it. You bring it into your life and it starts systematically removing all of the negative things that don't serve you anymore, and it removes them violently. You can find yourself suddenly quitting your job or getting fired. All of a sudden, your relationship that you're in completely upends and you leave or they leave. The things like that. Say your car needs to go because it's been nothing but a money drain for you. All of a sudden, it is going to crap the fuck out and not be able to be resurrected. But that's where people mess up with this stone. All these bad things start to happen and they get scared and they get freaked out and they take it off before it finishes its job. After it removes all those things from your life, it replaces them with things that are for your higher good. Now, if you are an energy worker or you can feel energy, this stone's vibrations are off the fucking charts. I went into the store and I decided I wanted to look at it because I'd heard so much about it, and I picked one up and I could just feel it vibrating in my hand. I'm like, that's going home with me. Now keep in mind, if you want to obtain moldavite for yourself or for your collection, get it from a reputable dealer, because there are a lot of fakes out there. Like I said, it is a limited quantity, and because of that it is pricey. This is actually a decently sized piece, and I got a pretty good deal on it at $164 for, you know, what? A piece that big. So it is pricey, and it can be hard to come by authentically. Now, the store that I buy from, they only purchase from reputable dealers, so I do trust them. But a lot of the ones I see online, I wouldn't. This is not a stone for a beginner, and I don't recommend it for you unless you are ready to potentially upend your life, because it can. Now, if there's not a lot of stuff in your life that's not serving your higher good, you're not going to see a lot of change. But if you're in one of those situations where there's a lot of toxicity around you, a lot of malevolence around you, a lot of things that aren't serving you, you're going to see some changes. They're going to happen fast, and they're going to happen violently. It's going to give you whiplash. So that's why it scares people. But it's not a bad stone. If you start experiencing all of those perceived negative things after you pick it up, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Let's talk a little bit about hagstones and what they are. Now, physically, a hagstone is a rock that has been worn down by running water, and it will have a naturally occurring hole somewhere in it that you can see through. I only have this little one. I have had no success in finding a bigger one. But what does this do? In a lot of folk magic practices, this is a powerful protection item, used to ward off evil, used to protect you from other practitioners and their energies. But another thing that it's good for is if you look through the hole in it, it allows you to see spiritual energies around you. You can use them to identify fey portals, because there will be just a different look to something that contains that type of magical and spiritual energy. There are stories of people looking through them and seeing water spirits near the body of water they found it in, or others. If you find one in the running water, in the ocean, in the lake, in the river, in the creek, what have you, consider yourself very lucky. They're not easy to find. You can buy them. That's fine too. I bought this one. But they are very powerful little magical tools. And very helpful.